Data is a collection of facts, such as values or measurements. It can be numbers, words, measurements, observations, or even just descriptions of things. There's two main ways of collecting data, via a census or a sample. In a sample, every single individual in a population is surveyed. Whereas in a sample, we only look at a selection of the population. For example, it might be 1% or 5%. It might be more than 5%, it might be less than 1%. But the point is that we don't collect the information from everyone when we take a sample. When we collect data, it splits into two broad categories. Quantitative, think of the word quantity, so these are generally numbers, and qualitative or categorical data, which is usually a description, like hair color, for example. Quantitative splits into two categories itself, discrete and continuous. Discrete is when there can only be certain numbers of things. For example, the number of people in a car can only be whole numbers. Continuous tends to come from a measuring process, so these could take any value at all to many, many decimal places. Qualitative splits into nominal and ordinal. Nominal means purely a naming type thing, such as brown is the name that we give to that color. So things like hair color would be nominal data. Ordinal is also descriptive, but there's some sort of order. For example, when you get your report, you have grades A to E. Now it's inherent in this that you believe that an A is better than a B is better than a C, and so on. So there is order in that type of data. Now let's look in a bit more detail at numerical or quantitative data. It usually consists of numbers, or in fact it always consists of numbers. It is collected either by counting or measuring, so counting number of passengers in a car, measuring somebody's height. So here's another example. The number of students in each class can be counted, the heights of students in a class can be measured. So numerical data can be described as discrete or continuous. Discrete data is obtained by counting. So in the example above, the number of students in each class, that would be discrete data. So discrete data, for example, number of children in a family. Continuous data is obtained by measuring. So when we talk about the heights of students in a class, that's continuous data. The results are often rounded off to required accuracy. For example, the length of telephone calls might be given to the nearest second, for example. But with continuous data, if you had a more sensitive measuring instrument, you could measure to as many decimal places as you want. Whereas discrete data tends to be just whole numbers. There are exceptions, such as shoe sizes, which come in half sizes. Now let's have a quick look at qualitative data. So that's categorical or qualitative data. Consists of words or letters. For example, the color of each student's hair may be brown, black, blonde, or red. This would be nominal data, as these colors are just names that we give to them. So nom, name. Your grade in a class test may be A, B, C, D, or E. This is ordinal, as the names imply that A is better than B, and so on. We already mentioned that once. Categorical data is often displayed in a picture graph or a column graph. Note that it is possible for categorical data to be numbers. For example, we might say that the effort grade for your report is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5. But in this case, this is not either counting or measuring, and it's just going to be ordinal data, so that a 1 for effort is better than a 2 for effort, and so on.